Good morning. I made it, and it's a cracking day. It's an absolutely cracking day out here. It's a bit cold. I almost wore the sleeves, but that's okay. It's okay. It's a beautiful morning. Okay, so just to recap on a couple of things that we're doing here. So what we're trying to establish is why I'm seeing the sun in the southern sky when I'm south of the Tropic of Capricorn. It shouldn't be happening, but it is happening. So this is about some like-minded people getting together, having a conversation about trying to work out a little bit more about where we live, because we're just in a labyrinth of lies. So I really want to get some good conversation about this. Now, I also, I want to just recap. Just recap on the last video I did. So that was on the 4th. That was on the 4th of December. Today's the 5th of January. So the solstice was the 21st. So I'm doing this 17 days. I did the first one 17 days before the solstice, and 17 days after the solstice will be the 8th. Today's the 5th, so it's pretty well close. I wanted to get out here today because I did the sunset one only about a couple of weeks ago. So we sort of lose, we lose a little bit of momentum with that one. So if I don't get out here soon, and plus still the moons are waning for us. I don't know if you can still see it. It's gone a bit dull now. All right, so just to use the currently held belief of the solstice. So everything meets at the two equinoxes, and they're most exaggerated at each solstice. So on the 20th, on the 21st, everything meets at its zenith, and then the 20th should be the same as the 22nd. The 19th should be the same as the 23rd, until they both meet at the equinox again. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Excellent. All right. So, just to get our bearings, so that's east pretty well there. The island is northeast. That's north about there. And when I swing back around here, the lighthouse is about southeast. Won't really do west, we'll do west this afternoon. Okay, so you can sort of see that's, my head's about east. The moon, actually, if you can see the moon in this shot, that's pretty well, I can't see it here, but if you can see the moon, that's east there, and you come straight down. So you can see what the sun's doing. It's way south again. I'm actually standing at the same spot as I was on the 4th. It's just down from the entrance, down here to the beach. And I'm noticing so far that it looks like it could be further south. I'm not sure. We won't know until it actually comes up. But it's still well south of east. So there was one thing I wanted to mention. Yeah, that was about it, I think that was about it. So just to recap what we're doing. Well, it's just a follow-up on that video the other day where I'm in Australia. I'm on the New South Wales Central Coast, and I'm south of the Tropic of Capricorn. And you can see the sun starting to rise in the southern sky. That was the last thing I wanted to touch on. 5:37, the last, when I was out here on the 4th, the sun rose. It's now 5:38, so there you go. So it's actually rising a little bit later, which is interesting because we're still a little bit closer to the solstice here on the 5th of January than what we were on the 4th of December. So that's interesting. I would have thought we'd still be getting more daylight. I didn't record the sunset time back then, but I suppose we could look at time and day, whatever that thing's called. But how do we know? They're not lies as well. So it looks like, to me, it looks like it could come up in about 20 minutes time. But we shall see. But already it's a minute later than when I was here, and we're still closer to the solstice now than what we were on the 4th of December. So already something's presented itself. It's going to be a good day, this. Strap yourselves in. Let's have some conversation. Let's have a bit of fun. Let's ignore the trolls and just see if we can learn something, huh? Welcome. All right, it's now 5:50 a.m. here. New South Wales summer daylight. We've got proxy daylight saving here. I hate it. It's not natural. But anyway, so the sun looks like it's just coming up now. There's a little bit of cloud there, so I think I think we're getting the moment of the sun now. Okay, so let's just go back here. So that about where my ear is east, and then you swing about just to give you a perspective again. The island is northeast. That's east about there. There's the sun, and then at the end of that piece of land there is a lighthouse. I don't know if you can see it, and that's sort of southeast. So that sun to me is about halfway between southeast and east. So what do they call that? Southeast? It's, what is it? It goes 90 degrees. It starts 0 at north, 90 degrees east, 180 degrees. So it's halfway 45, so it's sort of 100 and maybe 115 degrees if you use that sort of logic. Here it comes. You can just see it here. I don't know if you can see the top bit of it there. It's just peering out of the top of the cloud there now. It's absolutely magnificent. Absolutely magnificent. For me being, you know, flat earth and all that sort of stuff, just to reiterate who I am with this, I'm not a flat earther. No, because I don't know. I think it might be flat. Everything I see out the back of me here tells me it's flat. Everything I read in the Bible tells me it's flat. I feel no evidence of the earth moving because it's not. So to me, it appears to be flat. I'm having some seriously cool conversations with people at the moment about what they think it could well be, and some of the things they're saying is quite compelling. But no, I'm not a flat earther. But to me, I'm guided by my senses, and I'm guided by the Bible, and I ignore Freemasons. So we've basically got two things we can trust in our lives, and that's the Bible and our senses. But the earth, society, the TV dictates there's a third, and that's Freemasonry. I don't listen to them. I don't listen to the Freemasons. All of these people that went to the moon, they're all Freemasons, so don't listen to them. Listen to your heart, listen to your spirit, listen to your senses, and listen to the Bible, and you'll get to truth that way. But there's the sun. Beautiful. And I think in the last video I said it's January 5, it's January 4. So I just got, sorry about that. It's January 4, 2019, and it's now about 5:52 a.m. on the New South Wales east coast of Australia. So to recap, there's the sun way down there. It's way down in the southern sky. That's east about there. And there's the sun. Absolutely magnificent. So what I intend doing today, I'm going to try and do like a screenshot of the sun's position on an app each hour or so, and I'm going to try and do a video. I'm going to try and do more regular videos. I'm going to shoot for about 2 hour videos. So I might do one at say 8, 10, 12, 2, and then all the way to sunset. I'll see how I go. We'll see whether it's practical. We'll just see how the day progresses. But as you can see, it's a beautiful day. There's not a cloud in the sky. That cloud where the sun was rising, it's gone. The sun's burned it all up. I just want to go back to what I was saying before about being a flat earther and all that. To me, that sun, standing here now, looking at it, my sight being one of my senses, to me, it's appeared on the horizon because we couldn't see it before it appeared, and the reason why we couldn't see it before it appeared is because it was too far away. It's just a little bit like a boat coming over the horizon. So that's sort of what I see. It's certainly not coming up because it was down below the earth. That's just nonsense. It's not what I'm seeing at all. It's coming closer to me. It's like my hand here. You can't see it. It gets closer and you can see it. So that's sort of what I see. My sense is that it's pretty well in the same spot. It's pretty well in the same spot as when I was out here on December 4. I don't think it's any further south. It might be. If anything, it's just a fraction either way. So I'm just going to go with it. It's pretty well in the same spot. Okay, it's now going on 8 o'clock. So it's about 2 hours now after sunrise. So to get our bearings, now I've changed location now. I'm about probably 10 k's south of where I was at the beach and about 10 k's inland. but that doesn't make any difference. The direction's still where the direction is. All right, so that pole there, see that pole with the tree right in front of it, that's east. Okay, so probably not much point in going around that way, and then you sort of come around here, that would be south about there. All right, so the sun, it rose, just going by what I saw, it probably rose. See those, can you see those sails in the background? So I'm at a shopping centre. You've got that big pole with the tree in front of it, and then you've got the little pole, then you've got the trees, and then just you got another little tree there, and you got some sails there. So just to the right of where the sun is now, that's where it rose. So it's gone up, and it's gone just a little bit north. It's headed just a fraction to the north. I'm just conscious of putting the phone right at it. But it's still in the southern sky, 2 hours after sunrise. It's now 8 AM, and it's tracking ever so slightly north. Okay, so it's now 10:30, 2.5 hours later, and we'll get our bearings here. So that east is basically where that white car is, where that tree is there. That's east. So the sun would have come up just over the top of that house, probably around that first triangle there, that telegraph pole. So probably come up around there, maybe a little bit to the left of that, maybe a little bit round to the north, and you go up, and that's sort of north there, and there's the sun in the northern sky. So it's sort of just north of east now. So it's come up there, and it's sort of tracked around just to the north there. So the next one I'll do will be at about 1 o'clock, because 1 o'clock's around about the zenith. So the sun rose around about 6 o'clock, sets around about 8, so it's a 14-hour day, so 7 hours, should be around about halfway. So I'll do another video there, and I'll do that video at the park where I did the midday one in the first video. So far it's risen south of east, and then it's sort of just sort of tracked as it's gone up. It's tracked a little bit north, and now it's sort of it just looking straight up. It's around about, so that's sort of straight up there, and you come back a little bit that way, and sort of there's the sun. So it's not much. It's a little bit north. I'm not talking heaps. It's only a little bit north, but it's definitely tracked in the northern direction. So it'll be interesting to see what it does at the halfway point in 2.5 hours time. It's now 12:54 PM. That's daylight saving time here in New South Wales. Now you might be wondering why I'm standing here with my old mate the globe. So there's a couple of things. I've started this video a few minutes earlier. I'd like to do it at about 1 o'clock, but it may sort of go a few minutes, this one. You can see my globe here. I bought this globe back in 2014. It cost me $150, and I got it from the Australian Geographic shop. Isn't it lovely? Right, let's have a look at this globe. It's all fake. You'd think in 2014 they'd be able to superimpose the real Earth on it, but of course they can't, because it's a lie. So I just want to address all you globe people watching this video right now on the drill, wanting to tell me how much of a moron I am, just itching to comment on this. Yeah, you're welcome here. You go for it. You make your comments. You carry on all you like. But for me, the globe lie is long past. The debate is long past. I know what you're doing. You're trying to prevent people like myself and the other people on this video from having a conversation about what we think might be happening. I can't wait for this conversation to start, particularly with the people in the UK. Some of the things that Karen from Sun and Moon channel told me about what happens in the sky there were just incredible. So I can't wait to have that conversation with the people, particularly up there in the north. And that's what you're doing. That's what you globe people are doing. You're trying to just generate the conversation back into a debate about the globe, which I'm not going to do. I'm not interested. It's long past. It doesn't work. The Earth's not a globe. We don't move. We don't spin. It falls down. Now, there will be parts on this video where the globe can explain my questions. I mean, that's going to happen at times, because if there isn't some truth in the globe, and this is how Freemasons roll, some truth and some lies, if some of it didn't work, nobody would fall for the deception. Okay, so you and your globe nonsense, and because I can't tell you why I can't see some sky, light in the sky, and because you point your thing at the South Pole and the sun moves a certain amount every hour, it doesn't make it a globe. So what we're going to do here for the rest of this conversation is we're going to get here this globe and we're going to throw it down there, and we're going to kick it away. See you, globe. Bye, globe. There it is. Bye, globe. And just one thing before I go on about the AE map and the Gleason's map and the Flat Earth map, I've intimated to this on previous videos that the whole Flat Earth thing has been a psyop. The whole thing is a psyop. Those huge channels, it's called controlled opposition. Now, what controlled opposition means is they're controlling the info. So this whole Flat Earth thing, this whole AE map, the Griffiths map, all of it, it was created by the same people who created the globe. And the reason why they did it is because all you flat earthers, you think you're edgy, you think you're cutting edge, you think you're all this sort of stuff, and that's cool. It's good to know you're asking questions and stuff. But what they're doing is they're feeding you another lie. So what they're doing now is they're going, all those flat earthers, they're crazy, stupid people, but this is the model we've provided for them that you're going to believe in. Okay, so I'm hoping to superimpose some footage over this to demonstrate how the AE map and the Griffiths map don't work here in New South Wales. The seasons don't work. They just, up there in the north, you got it in the middle. The sun's always there in the middle, but down here, you can't explain why the days get longer on that map. Nothing can. No model here works. And if it doesn't work here, it doesn't work anywhere, because here is just as important as where you are. So there's that. There was one other thing I wanted to mention here. I can't sort of think of it. So we're now around about it's around about 1 o'clock. As I say, it's a couple of minutes to. This video's been going 4 minutes. It's probably around about just getting on towards 1 o'clock now. So I had a look at the sunrise sunset times online. It rose. They say it rose when I witnessed it out there at 5:50, and they say it sets at 8:07. So what's that? 14 hours and 17 minutes. So we're around about halfway now. I just wish I could think of that other thing I was going to talk about, with the psyop and the globe and the AE. There was one other thing I wanted to mention, but I can't. I'm going to do a couple more videos. I can't think of it right now. I'm going to do a couple more videos after this one. So hopefully I think of what I was going to say. So this is the tree. This is the tree I stood aside last time for the midday shot that I did. So we have a look here. So I'm here now. That's south behind me. Okay, so that way is north. That way over there is east. So we come over this way, and to get our bearings, not that it's overly relevant because the sun's directly above now, it came over sort of that way, over this shoulder, just over there, which is south of east, and then it sort of tracks up like that, and it's where it is now up there. So let's do this. So we've got, see the sun sort of there it is. Now I think that might be a little, I don't know, I can't quite see it there, but when I look up, it looks like to me it's a little bit further north than what it was when I did that other video. We'll go around the tree like I did last time. There we go. Woohoo! I'm getting dizzy. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so it's up in the, to me it looks with the naked eye, it looks like it could be fractionally, it's not further south, there's no way it's further south than what it was before. It could be further north, it could be the same spot. It's hard to say because it was sort of a month ago, but I remember thinking when I did that video last time that it looked a lot closer in real life than what it did on the camera. So now it looks like it did on the camera, so I think it's further away, and it's probably going to seem further away to me when I watch this video back. All right, so I still haven't thought of that other point I wanted to raise. I want to just encourage everyone with that, with just what I was saying there before about the people who want to talk about this and make it a debate about the globe. Don't do it. I'm not. If you want to come up here and debate the globe and tell me I'm an idiot because I don't think the Earth's a globe, I'm not going to respond to you. And because I don't respond to you, it doesn't mean that I agree with you and that you're right and it automatically makes it a globe. Because that's what you lot do. You try and stump us because we don't know the answers to shit. That's why I'm doing this video, because I'm being lied to at every opportunity by the controlled opposition and by the powers that be who run this satanic earth. I'm seeking truth, and because I don't know truth, it doesn't mean that your lie is truth. Okay? So we're not doing that. We're not doing that. I'm not interested in debating the AE map either because it doesn't work. I've analysed it and analysed it, and not one of those maps, not one of those maps does it show the sun coming up from the south. You probably heard me pause there because I just realised what I was going to talk about. The weather. I want to talk about like the weather and sunlight. Yeah, I'm not one of them. Does it show it? And it doesn't demonstrate it doesn't explain the longer days, the seasons down here either. So that's the other thing I wanted to mention. So here in Australia, hopefully right now, I'm superimposing a map over this video, but right here in Australia now, the days are longer as you go further south, and it gets hotter as you go further south. It's even 36 degrees in Tasmania today. It's quite warm here today, but I think it'll be high 20s. I don't think it's that warm. Brisbane, I had a look on the map, it's about 31 I think, and it sort of it's a funny old shape. It swelters right down the bottom. The heat map I'm putting up there now, it's not typical because Perth and Adelaide this time of year are generally sweltering as well, and it just gets hotter here. It gets hotter in January. Funny enough, in Brisbane, I found Brisbane the hottest month was November. In the 10 years I was there, and here it's like when I was a kid. The January still seems to be the hottest month. It's getting hotter here. So as you go further south, and that's where the sun is when it rises and sets, and now it's sort of directly above me, a little bit to the north. The further south it goes, the hotter it gets, and the more light there is. So if you go right down to Tasmania, I've got a 14-hour day here today. I don't know how long their day is, but it might be 15, 16 hours. And the further you go, it's hotter. So that stands to reason that the further the sun goes, the hotter it gets, the more light it gets, and because that's where it is. So it's going somewhere down the south. There's something down there. I don't think it's Antarctica, but it's going further to the south. And this is why I say everything's up for discussion here, guys. Because I don't think where things are on the map that they're telling us is where they are. They're telling us it's not true. Karen on Sun and Moon channel the other day told me that, I didn't know this, that Scotland, there's a time zone difference of an hour up there, a time zone difference of an hour from England. How's that possible when it's on the same? What's the lines that go right down? Are they latitude? The ones that go down, it's on, but there's an hour time difference. Why? You know, and she's got all sorts of ideas, all sorts of thoughts on the matter, and this is what I encourage. Okay, so just in closing this video, it's a bit longer than what I hoped, but anyway, I've got everything out that I wanted to say. That I sort of wanted to say this morning. It was a bit bleary-eyed there this morning. Just to reiterate that this is not a debate about the Earth being flat or a globe. The globe's finished. There it is. It's down there. It's in the wilderness, like I was for the first 44 years of my life. And we're kicking it away. There's the globe. The AE map, unless you've got something new and compelling, I really don't want to discuss that either. This is about like-minded people discussing what they're seeing in the sky in different parts of the world to see if we can come up just with something. And maybe it's going to throw, of course it's going to throw up more questions, but we're going to get some solutions here if we collaborate. Don't get enticed by the trolls. So it's now just past 1 o'clock. Sun sets at 8 o'clock, so I'm thinking I'm going to go to my brother's house around 6 o'clock again to do the sunset video. But given it's a little bit later now when it sets, I may even do another one after that. We'll see how we go with cloud. And I might do one between now and the 6 o'clock one. I might do one more. I might do one more at around about, what is it now, 1 o'clock? I might do one about 3:30. Okay, so it's now 3:30. It's 2.5 hours than when I did that one before at the park. So where is it there? So you see it just above me there. So essentially I'm now standing directly east. Behind me is west, and you see the sun's directly above me. So it's in the same position now in terms of a west-east alignment as where it was at 10 o'clock. So when it rose, it rose probably, I reckon it was about 20-25 degrees south of east when it rose, and then it sort of tracked gradually to that most northern point where it appears to be at the zenith. When it's at its zenith in the middle of the sky there, in the middle of the day, that's when it's at its most northern point, and it's only just to the north of centre. And now at 3:30, it's basically in that sort of east-west sort of alignment. It's in the same position of, it's exactly in alignment with east and west right now as it was at about 10 o'clock. So it's risen, it's zenith sort of just gone to the north, and now it's tracking south again. Next video I'll do it, my brothers, like I did with the first video I did a month ago. I'll stand in the same spot and we'll compare whether it's changed the spot. It'll be higher in the sky, I think. So I had a bit of a look yesterday, comparison I did with the video there I did a few weeks ago, and it's definitely higher in the sky in the afternoon. So it'll be a little bit higher. So I think when we look at it, we're going to have to take into account that it's going to track even further south after that point. It is definitely going to be higher. So I'll do the next one at 6 o'clock, and then I hope I can do one for sunset. But you can sort of see there behind me, it's a cracking day. I feel great because I picked the best day. Hasn't been as cloud in the sky basically all day. It's been incredible. So let's hope it holds up, because we can get some cloud here in the afternoon sometimes. So let's hope it holds up. But I'll do the next video at around 6 o'clock at my brother's at the same point as I did it a month ago. Okay, it's now 6:05 in the afternoon, and it's just over 2.5 hours since my last video there. So I'm really conscious of the sun here. I've got nowhere really to protect me from it, so you can sort of see it just over my shoulder there. I just don't want to put my phone straight into it because it's really strong, and I don't want to wreck my phone. So what I'm seeing is we'll get our bearings again. So I'm in the same spot as I was a few weeks ago. So that pole just on my shoulder there, that's north. And we come around here. Yeah, that's about east there. And then we've got a thing on a power pole. That thing on the power pole, it's probably 5G, but anyway, that's south. And then we've got a white car. Can we see the white car? Where is it? Hopefully it's coming through. It's really hard for me to see, but that white car, it's just over that tree. Yeah, there it is, just over there. That's west. So you see the sun. Now, what I'm sort of thinking, I just had a look at the video I did a month ago, and it looks like the sun's a little bit further north than it was at that point, and it's a little bit higher in the sky than what it was at that point. So it's definitely tracked west. I should be superimposing a photo now of where it is. It's tracked south again. It's definitely south of west. But just comparing it to that video there I did a month ago, it's a little bit further north and it's a little bit higher in the sky. So you can see the conditions I've got. It's perfect conditions here at the moment. So it's due to set at 8:05. So I'll just keep an eye on it over the next sort of 2 hours, and I'll do it as late as I possibly can. That last video where we should catch it at the sunset. But it looks like from its zenith at midday, it was slightly north when I was at the park, slightly north of the middle of the sky. It was pretty much above me, but if anything, it was slightly north. And then from there, it started to track south again. So I'll do my last video in around about 2.5 hours. So it's now about 10 to 8 in the afternoon. The sun is due to set in about 15 minutes. I thought I'd come out here a bit earlier because there's mountains to the west of me here, so I wanted to make sure I got it. So this is where I was standing before. Oh, it's about, what time did I do the other one? It's about an hour and a half, hour and 3/4 after I did that one at my brother's. Now at 3 o'clock it was sort of about just above my head there, because remember in that video that's where it got straight in line with east and west again. So it was basically directly behind me east where it was at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock was seen to be the moment about 4 hours after sunrise. That seemed to be the moment where it hit the east-west line. And then it's come back down after being in the just north of the middle of the sky when I was down in the park at 1 o'clock. That was when briefly it went to the north. It looks like it goes to the north maybe for an hour or two, if that. And then by 3 o'clock it had come back down in alignment between east and west. And then over at my brother's it had clearly hooked back south again. It was quite a deal in the southern sky. Probably similar to the one actually when I was out at the shops this morning, the second one I did at 8 o'clock there. It was pretty well in alignment. So what I found, so I sort of have a look, I'll go forward here and there it is there. So it's over my shoulder just there. I don't think we're going to get a real good look at it. Is that it there? Yeah, there we go. So you can see there's a mark difference. That's sort of west behind me there, and there's the sun way down there, and I would have thought, so that's sort of west behind me. You would go probably, there's the sun, that'd be probably southwest there, maybe there, and that's south behind me there. So really what's happened is where it's really been a mirror all day of itself. So it's in terms of the east-west line, it's risen as far south of east as it's set south of west. And that video I did at 8 o'clock mirrored the one I did over at my brother's, and the one I did here at 3:30 mirrored the one I did out the front at 10 o'clock. So it's interesting. So it feels like the solstice was the middle of the day and the equinoxes were the end of the day. It's been a really interesting experience. I thought it would probably set a little bit further south than what it is, but it's pretty savagely south. If anything, it's slightly further south of west than what it was when it rose south of east. So there we go. So there's a day in the path of the sun in the sky from somebody south of the Tropic of Capricorn around the summer solstice, and we get to relate it back to the one I did a month ago. Comparing it to that one, I think if anything it's very, very similar, but it rose about 15 minutes later, and it's looked like it's setting about 15 minutes later as well. So I don't think the day is any longer, but it just feels as though it's just been a little bit later. So same length, but just it all happened a little bit later. So at various different times in the day it was really in the same position, but it was a little bit higher, if that makes sense, because of what I sort of just say. So what I'll do now is you're probably not interested in what I need to do now, because all you'll see is the finished result. So I look forward to some real good conversation. I look forward to some really good collaborating. Just to reiterate, please don't feed the trolls. I'm not interested. If you're going to come on here and dispute that the Earth's a globe, and you're going to call me a moron because I know the Earth's not a globe, I'm not interested in you. You're only here to argue. You're only here to hijack the discussion, so like-minded people can't have that discussion. So I'm not interested in you. I encourage everybody else who wants to get something out of this video, I encourage you all to ignore them as well. Don't get bogged down in disagreements. Have a discussion, have a cordial discussion. If you've got anything you need to ask me, or anything you think that I may have erred in, or you're not sure about, absolutely ask me questions. But I sniff troublemakers from a mile off. So if you're here to cause drama, I'm not interested in you at all. So I expect this video to get quite a bit of attention. Whether I'll moderate the comments, I don't know. I'll just have a bit of a look. But as I say, some discussion, some like-minded people getting together. I really can't wait to hear from you in the north, particularly people up like in England. And this video should be ready. Should be ready for my appearance with Karen and the gang on Sun and Moon channel. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to that appearance. That'll be on 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in Australia here on Tuesday morning. So really looking forward to that. I hope you can tune into that and we can sort of digest all this a little bit further. I want to thank everyone for the interest. The interest in my first video has really been the reason why I've done this again. That's what motivated me to do it, so I really, really appreciate that. It's been a fabulous day. I've really enjoyed it. I've learnt quite a bit, but more questions abound. Guys, the sun basically was in the sky for 14 hours. So 12 of those 14 hours, the sun was in the southern sky. It was south of me when I'm south of the Tropic of Capricorn.